Just doing a little update here on January 19th, 2021, 8 a.m. And this, of course, is about environmentally intolerant, chronic fatigue syndrome, Parkinsonism, allergies, mold, toxic chemicals, air, food, water, and all of the above. Now, I'm not sure if this winter snow blizzard has anything to do with my waking up choking on mucus, sinuses blocked, head pounding from inflammation. Lights are like piercing daggers in my eyes, which bilberry and coated garlic does help. Sometimes my immune deficiency is caused by being systemically poisoned in this modern world of mold, pollution, pesticides, gas oil, diesel, canola oil, and that microscopic world of germs, virus, and bacteria that we live in and cannot see makes staying alive sometimes a nightmare. I started taking attacks. I was 6 years old in 1947 from our smelter of sulfuric acid, and from there the fact that doctors don't recognize or treat for being poisoned meant eventually I had to become my own doctor. The good news is 30 coated garlic pills later, after about an hour, I'm now breathing normally. I had to fight infection in my earlobe with antibiotic ointment for over a week from a tiny scratch in my pierced ear from an earring I should have thrown out. I got an itch on my arm, scratched it and wound up with a tiny bleeding wound, cleaned it with 3% peroxide, then dabbed antibiotic ointment and taped over it for 5 days before it would heal. Now that's just my normal routine during any given day, which does not include the crippling, paralyzing attacks from diesel fumes leaking into my window from God only knows what source, or the days of detoxifying with raw okra so I can walk the next day. I'm not complaining. At least I know after 37 years of research how to treat myself. And I am blessed to have discovered that raw okra will give my brain the boost it can no longer do by itself so I can function. My digestion is so damaged I have to take supplements, as protein does not break down sufficiently to provide what my muscles need. My bowel is so damaged it dehydrates and my food turns hard as rocks unless I figure out what to eat that is water soluble, extra fiber, stool softeners, and if I don't get it exactly right, I get diarrhea or I constipate to the point of bleeding. I'm 80, and I've been living with this disease called by many names, but it is really caused by poisoning me as a child, air, food, water, and beverages, in a society so corrupt by industry that our doctors are trained to not recognize or treat us for being poisoned, just as they did when we were dying with cancer from smoking, cancer from heavy metal pollution, cancer from traffic fumes, cancer from asbestos. They, of course, get treatment that costs billions of dollars every year to the taxpayers. But that's okay. Since the drug industry cannot figure out how to make money off the rest of us, we are left to flounder by ourselves, like beached whales, ridiculed by family, co-workers, and so-called friends. I won't repeat what my aunt called me when I was terminal. I do want to qualify. I have really good friends today. I block everyone else. I learned to do that. Now, having said all that, I am 80, skied yesterday, and truly grateful that despite the agony of living with my disease legally recognized by some doctors at the Mayo Clinic as Parkinsonism, but their drug treatment Benadryl, in fact, did me more harm, from which I wound up with dangerously low T and B cell autoimmune disorder. 30 years later, still have it. The damage that Benadryl did to me. There are so many suffering who have not yet found just the right diet or even know the benefits of raw okra, and the nightmare of confusion, drowning in a world of denial that I had hoped I could reach through media over 30 years ago. I failed, of course, because the public are so ignorant. They simply do not recognize that mold, toxic chemicals, air, food, water, beverages, canola oil that cause my Parkinsonism and a vast array of symptoms that are also causing cancer. I am so lucky, despite the adversity, brutal torture of what I endure, it is nothing compared to the suffering of those who are allergic to Wi-Fi and electricity. My suffering is slight compared to theirs. The corruption in the medical industry is beyond my power to stop, but perhaps someday the victims themselves will fight back as I tried to do and demand sane treatment for being poisoned. I created a free nonprofit website that I hope will last 200 years with all that I discovered on systemic poisoning and the okra for life diet and research to prevent, control, and reverse the brain damage it causes. This is just an update. I don't know who this is going to reach. Obviously not enough, because nothing's changed in 37 years. So I guess it's up to divine intervention, because it doesn't look like humans are going to do anything about it. Okay. Special shout out to Annie and all of those suffering. There are ways to control it. No, it's not easy. But like they say in AA, it works if you work it. And I have survived, and I'm still here. Bless everyone. Over and out.